Well, exiles, welcome. Today I want to give you an update on my monk. And after my last monk video on Sunday, I've been on a business travel for 2 days. So now I finally returned, and I basically brought my monk from T2 to T10 in those couple of days. Actually, was like T14, T15 at this point. I've done my first T14 today. It was actually decently smooth. I've reworked the build pretty much completely, found a lot of new ideas and ways to build up on that, learned a few things from other content creators and discoveries, and I want to share all of that with you. Also, last time you guys complained that I was a little bit hard to hear, so please tell me if the new sound setup works better. Right, it's not a scripted video, so we'll go through all of that in an organic way. First of all, let me show you some gameplay. I've revamped my skill setup quite a bit to support multiple new tools. This is a C10 map, just a random C10 map. I feel pretty tanky with the new setup. It's very satisfying to play, it clears decently well, but at the same time, it also has quite respectable survival. As you can see, we've just taken out 2 rares in like seconds each. At the same time, we are still mobile, we can move and attack at the same time. We have overpowered tools, we have many new defense layers. Right, so how does all of that work? How does this gameplay work? How do the new combos work? Let me talk about that for a second. Sorry about the lengthy intro, by the way. Right, so first of all, I've dumped most of my abilities and got a whole bunch of new spirit abilities. Ice Strike is still a main attack. It deals respectable damage, but it's mostly there to freeze, to build rage, and to build Ice Bite up, so that our other attacks are much more powerful. It also is a nice dash, so it closes the distance. I've also added Storm Wave. Storm Wave is really nice because it helps us to clear while moving, and it adds up to our clear speed quite a bit, making it a very satisfying skill to have. So we can move and attack the Storm Wave. I really recommend using controller VSD on the monk. It feels really good. On top of that, Ice Strike and Storm Wave together add Innovate and Ice Bite all the time, which is like amazing for damage. Oh, I forgot the C10. Right. Then we have our Bell and our Whirling Assault. This is kind of like my little certified combo that I started playing with. The way it works is you build up combo points, slap the enemies, then drop the Bell on them and whirl against the Bell, and basically everything disappears. This tends to kill bosses really fast. It's really powerful. Once again, Bell and whirl against it. This triggers the Bell really often, right? Again, at the same time, it also uses a whole bunch of different utility effects to kill enemies really quickly. Finally, we have the charge stuff, which we keep up all the time, and it helps a lot with like everything: damage, shock, innovate. So it works out really well, right? And this actually covers all of our abilities. Now let's talk about how we keep them up and how they actually link. We're not going to talk elemental expression for now. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but there's considered casting, inspiration, and ambush there. And execute. And the links are kind of meh. It's not doing much. Let's talk about that later. Ice Strike. Martial Tempo, Primal Armament, Rage, and Ice Bite. It's your go-to left-click ability. And we also build Rage and Ice Bite with that. But we also have a secondary Rage source. Tempest Spell is linked to Expanse, Concentrated Effect, and Heavy Swing. It's basically the boss killer, so we just want to make it as reliable as possible and give it a ton of damage. Charge Staff is linked to Innovate, Conduction, and Supercritical. Its goal is to produce a lot of high damage, shocking waves. So that's why the Conduction and the Innovate part. Obviously, the Innovate gives damage to all other abilities, right? Storm Wave, it's this one. Long Shot, Magnified Effect, and Rising Tempest. Rising Tempest can be replaced with something else, but it works, in my opinion, quite well. Combat Frenzy with Resonance, I talked about this last time, grants us power charges passively whenever we freeze an enemy. That's why we use it with Profusion to get more charges, Cannibalism, and Clarity. Cannibalism and Clarity could be dropped if you don't have the Spirit. Then I embrace Custom Freeze, and I know Custom Freeze has been like super nerfed over the past days, but with Enfeeble, Voltaic Mark, and Frostbomb, it's actually very, very powerful. You might need lower level gems for that, because I'm using low level ones to save mana and to also be able to cast that. I don't have the intelligence to use higher level ones. These are basically kind of like your passive support setup. They trigger frequently enough, pretty much all the time on bosses reliably, which helps with exposure, which helps with shock application, and which helps with reducing their damage. Just a nice utility setup. Then we have Herald of Thunder, and Herald of Thunder we are running with Lightning Infusion, Blind, and Culling Strike, Herald of Ice, with Cold Infusion, Glaciation, Cold Mastery, and Ghost Dance with Fast Forward. Now you might wonder how we run all of these skills. There's two steps for that. First of all, we need one unset drink in order to get the additional slot. But you know, earlier on, just go with like one skill less, drop a Herald of Thunder, I suppose, or a Custom Freeze. Then on our Ascendancy, I respect it completely. I'm not really happy with Unbound Avatar. I found it not that powerful in the end. It's good for bursts, but often enough, I really wanted survival or clear. So I went for the top way. Lead me through grace, evasion, and protect me from harm. Protect me from harm is amazing, right? This is something I wasn't so sure about, but the way it stacks is absolutely insane. It seems that it reduces your evasion rating, but not the actual evasion percentage. So this actually means that we go down from like 80% evasion to 73% evasion, but get a 64% armor rating. Right. Then Lead Me Through Grace is also just great because we get a lot of spirit from our body armor. You can go for evasion or evasion energy shield, but honestly, I would prefer just going for pure evasion armor. Now, an additional huge defensive step in our setup is our energy shield. We don't have a lot of that, but we're also running Ghost Dance. Ghost Dance, every time we get hit, we regenerate 5% of our evasion as energy shield. This is around 400 evasion for me. That means you can get hit like by 4 hits and get like 400 life back, plus the initial shield. This is like a small buffer of a pseudo 2000 HP. This makes us really, really tanky. And Ghost Dance is being activated pretty frequently, so it's quite powerful. I think I can also use a higher level. I just noticed that I have a level 7 Ghost Dance. I can go up there, right? Right, so this is basically this setup. Evasion, armor, Ghost Dance, energy shield provides us with really, really respectable defenses, right? Let's talk about the damage side. This is the new tree. Something I've embraced and something I didn't really understand before that is the way that crit multiplier works. So the crit damage bonus on your weapon is pretty much a multiplier that applies to all of your crit damage bonus. This is different in PoE 1. So you definitely want some crit damage on your weapon and ideally some attack speed as well. Both of these are basically local weapon scaling, which in turn makes everything else better. So I embraced that, changed the tree quite a bit. So the tree is now focused on this end. I've also went for Sunder My Enemies, which allowed me to drop all of my exposure, all of my penetration on the tree, since most of our damage, vastly most of our damage, comes from crits. Take a look at the damage on Ice Strike, and you see there's like 550% crit damage bonus. So most of the hits that matter are the crit one. So if we ignore the resistance on the crits, we don't actually need to skill much resistance otherwise. I also picked up Elemental Expression. I mean, these nodes are like 7 to 8% practical more damage multiplier. Sorry, I don't want to miss out on a 15x trade. These nodes are at most like 6 to 8% more damage multiplier. The shock ground doesn't really matter. I think Elemental Expression isn't really great. It helps in some situations, helps a little bit with clear speed, but most importantly, it feels fun, and there's just not a lot of good nodes for the final Ascendancy, in my opinion. So, in case you don't have the final Ascendancy, don't rush it. It's very hard to get. It doesn't help that much. Right. That is pretty much it. Let me quickly show you my items. Staff with Iron Runes, new mask. As you see, there's a focus on evasion everywhere. The Unset Drink, nothing really special there. I want new gloves with attack speed. I want a new belt with a charm slot, better boots. Everything here is much improvable, but it's also kind of in a decent state. Oh, one more thing. You definitely want a jewel with... Where is that? With melee range and melee hit. These only come in red form, so the other stats are not so good on it, but it really, really helps. Because it helps with rage generations, all kind of like little hits you can use. We have also incorporated a few new tricks there. On the Whirling Assault, we now use Splinter in order to break enemy armor. We don't deal that much critical damage, but it definitely helps, and it's, in my opinion, decently noticeable. Right, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this mini guide. It's getting a little bit too long already. Yeah. If also, I'll be updating the item filter over the next days. I have a whole bunch of new ideas and improvements coming up. So that's gonna come up probably over the course of the weekend. Let us just finish the tier 10 boss. And I'm getting stuck in the corner there. Okay, bell. Oh, another unique. I should check the other one. I have no idea what these are. Hope I won't die there. It would be embarrassing to do it on video. By the way, I'm streaming pretty much every day. Either I'm doing filter development or playing the monk. So if you have any questions, if you want to have any more guidance, please do check out my Twitch. Not a very regular streamer in that sense, but I do have a lot of fun with PoE2 right now. Alright, and that's it, right? I think that's about it. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.